name is William. For anybody who knows me personally, you probably know that. But, yeah, from the east side of OKC, like most of these artists that are doing something around here, and holding it down, man. Born and raised here.
So you say you're from the east side of Oklahoma City.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel like there's a certain east side sound versus the south side sound, north side sound?
I feel like maybe the east side's a little more soulful. If I had to say something, I feel like it's more like integrates more like live sounds, maybe like old school music, whether it's like a trumpet, a horn, or something else. It's more live instruments incorporated into the sound that we make. That's just because of like the old school music we grew up listening to. I feel like.
So what's your earliest memory of the Oklahoma City?
My earliest memory of the Oklahoma hip hop scene is when I was 16. I did my first show at what was then the Conservatory, now 89th Street Collective. JB put me on that show. I had just started recording maybe a few months before that with my friend L.T.Z. Just the energy that people brought, and just like the honesty that was there between the artists and between the fans. They didn't expect much. They just wanted to see what people were doing. And I feel like nowadays people expect everyone to be quote unquote industry quality or like industry ready, when everybody here is just trying to, get their things right and get everything together. So. That was actually JB's idea. Is actually just like a bunch of people that were already doing performances together and linking up on things like that, and just had the idea to make it a complete collective, a real collective, as opposed to just hanging out together. So it's a group of DJs and MCs and graphic designers and promoters and all types of people throughout different facets of hip hop that just have the same kind of like-minded ideas and work together.
It's a fucking Larry David episode.
I was like, I knew if I showed.
That's a good question. I really don't even remember how I met Chips, but it's just one of those things where you just click with somebody and you just have that natural chemistry with them, and we became friends. Like I walked his mom down the aisle in his wedding when he was married. You know what I'm saying? So like it's not just music. We're real friends. I think that's what it takes. To be around people you like. You would like to spend time around anyway if you weren't making music. So if they're making music too, that's just icing on the cake. Birthday Chris McCain.
So how important do you think the rapper DJ beat is on this?
I think it's very important because it adds a little bit of authenticity to it. Because anybody can just rap over some beats, but to add a DJ to it adds that performance element. There's a lot of improvisation that goes on to being a DJ and producing a set for an artist. So being able to go along with that and the different drops and the beat switches you can do, it just opens up for a lot of more creativity in an artist set, as opposed to just playing the songs and rapping over them and that being it.
So how important is it to you to collaborate with artists?
Early in my career, I thought it was the end all be all. But at this point in my life, I've learned that you have to be very selective about who you collaborate with, because it can be as detrimental to you as it can be positive to you. If you're working with somebody that's not as serious about their craft as you are, and that's not putting out a quality product, then it can be hurtful to you as well. So I'm all for it as long as it's somebody that is working as hard as you are and is really about pushing the culture and not just about trying to make a dollar, because it shows. So.
Now, to me, I feel like you have like but like, what are your national?
As far as my influence, like when I first started rapping, Lupe Fiasco was like the biggest person I listened to, and he's like a Midwest kind of person, kind of like me, from Chicago. But I would say lyrically, I'm more East Coast, and like sonically, sound wise, I'm more like West Coast, maybe Midwest, just because that's the kind of stuff that'll make you bounce as far as the sound is. But the East Coast has always been where the lyrics are and the depth is as far as the lyrics go. So that's always been what drew me to music, is the depth of the lyrics. But if you're gonna listen to it, it's gotta have a good beat too. So you gotta take something out from somewhere.
So why do you think is the reason Oklahoma City hasn't achieved the same success as the city?
A lot of it has to deal with venues and businesses putting their name and their money behind artists, which I feel doesn't happen as much. They're starting to do it a little bit more, but it's taking time. And other than that, I feel just people got to come together. It's easy to say that, but it's hard to do because everybody's at the end of the day, everybody's trying to win. So it's hard to want somebody else to win when they're not on your team. So I feel like the biggest thing is the venues and the media putting their name behind the artists, because there's only a few that'll do it, and those venues and those avenues are getting exhausted because there's not any other ones to do it. So.
I've heard a lot of Oklahoma City creatives say that they feel like people don't support. Do you feel that way?
We don't give them enough to support sometimes. You can say that, but if you're not putting on shows a couple times a month and putting out projects at least once a year, you can't really complain about nobody supporting you if you're not giving them anything to support. Because I was one of those people to say that, you know what I'm saying, when I was young and just getting started into this. But at the end of the day, I had to look at myself like I would any other artist that I listen to on my iPod. And if I'm not doing as much as them, how can I expect someone to support me like they would support them? So if you're not doing that much, you really can't say nothing to them. So that's what I think. If you're working, you can complain. But if you're not working, then shut up.
What is your perspective of the female presence in Oklahoma City hip-hop?
Millie Mesh is the only one Millie Mesh is definitely bringing it back. I can't name any other ones. So that's saying it's not as prevalent as it should be. But I feel there's at least one female who's bringing that female side of the hip-hop game back to life. Millie Mesh is her name, just like a Millie Lil Wayne. If you haven't heard her, you should check her out on SoundCloud. She got way more plays than I do, so check her out.
So, Oklahoma City, name your top 5.
Top 5, JB, L.T.Z. Can I list myself? Myself, Frank Black, and Dewey Benz. Y'all may not know Dewey. He's from Lawton, but Oklahoma. So we're counting the whole state.
Is there anything you would like anybody to know about you?
My name is Beetyman. That's Beetyman. I'm a part of the Puzzle people. JB is my people. Shelby's my people. She just walked by. L.T.Z. I'm really just about progression, man. You can find a lot of my older music on beatyman.bandcamp.com. It's all free, so you have no excuse.
Appreciate you, bro.
Awesome.
Yeah.